Welcome to Cybersecurity Sense, a weekly podcast providing updates and insight into the latest in cybersecurity. Brought to you by LBMC Information Security. Now, here's your host.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cybersecurity Sense. Today, I'm your host, Lexi Dragelowitz. I'm a senior consultant in LBMC's Advisory Services Department. And today, we have some of my favorite people joining us. It's the ladies of information security. We have Robin, Donna, Kristen, Corey, and BC. Ladies, welcome, and thank you for joining us today. So glad to have you. We will start with just doing a quick round of introductions. So, Robin, if you don't mind to go ahead and start us off.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lexi. My name is Robin Barton. I am a senior manager in our IT assurance group, which means that I spend most of my time in our high trust and SOC reporting service lines. I'm happy to be here and talk to you today.
Thanks, Robin. Donna?
Hi, I'm a lead security consultant here in the PCI department, so I do QSA assessments and help people secure cardholder data.
Thank you, Donna. Kristen?
Hello, everyone. So happy to be here. My name is Kristen Churchill. I have a master's degree in accounting and information systems, and I am a senior security consultant here in our IT assurance service line.
Thanks, Kristen. Corey?
Hey, I'm Corey. I'm a consultant here on our pen test team, and I'm super excited for this.
Thank you, Corey. And last but certainly not least, BC?
Hi, everyone. My name is BC Yusuf, and I'm a staff consultant with the IT Assurance Services Group. And this is my very first podcast, and I'm very excited to be on this.
Thanks, BC. We're so excited to have you as well. Just to get us going, if everybody wants to kind of give a little more background and kind of share how your path to getting where you are today is. So, Robin, will you kick us off?
Absolutely. Sure. So my first real introduction to audit and compliance was an internship that I got during my senior year of college. It was with a manufacturing and distribution company. So they did a diverse set of things and companies that were involved with that. So I had a chance to really participate in a lot of different types of audits. I went full-time with them after I graduated, and then a few years later, I moved into professional services.
Awesome. Thanks, Robin. Donna, do you mind to share your journey?
Yeah, sure. So I went to college whenever I was about 23 years old, and I got an associate's degree in computer science and networking. I was looking at, Cisco routers and switches and that sort of thing. And after graduation, I ended up getting offered a position as a security analyst performing vulnerability assessments. So I did that for about a year or two, and then I got promoted to penetration tester, and I did that for about 4 or 5 years until finally I switched over to the PCI compliance side of security.
Awesome. Kristen?
Thanks, Lexi. So I'm fairly young in my career, so college was not that long ago, but I remember that I was trying to decide what to do, and my thinking was keep as many doors open as possible. So I entered the business college thinking everything's a business. At some level, accounting's involved, security's involved. So UTK, that's where I went, had a very good accounting program, ended up going there. And as I continued my classes in accounting and had a few different internships, I wasn't exactly sure what it was I wanted to do. And at the time, information systems was a new focus of the accounting program under MAC director Robert Fuller. And talking to him and going through some of those classes made me want to concentrate my degree in in that rather than financial audit or tax, because those just didn't call out to me in the way that security did and information systems did. So everything relies on the flow and integrity of information. And so that's what inspired me to start going towards this path. And coming out of the master's program, I was offered a position here at LBMC, and I've been here ever since. So very excited to be here.
That's awesome. I love how I so resonate with the trying to decide between tax and audit and just not feeling the call for either one. And I don't think many people realize that there's more to accounting than just tax and audit. So thanks for sharing that, Kristen. Corey?
I originally went to school for management of information systems, and then I continued into graduate school with cybersecurity. I started out in IT. I did like generic help desk and executive support, patch management, all that kind of fun stuff. And then I kind of delved a little into front end development. Finally went into information security, like policy and GRC, and now I'm here.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Corey. BC, will you share your journey with us?
Yes, I worked as a salesperson with the banking industry for 9 years. And then after a while, it became very mundane to me, trying to sell the same products all over again. And then the competition was very stiff. So I wanted something different. I wanted something challenging. I had no idea what part of IT I'm supposed to, I would like to probably have a niche in because it's so wide. And then someone said, okay, fine, why not look at information systems? I was like, I have no idea what this is. So I decided to take a master's in information systems. And because I didn't have a background in it, I was made to take undergrad courses as well as graduate courses. And then in the course of, my journey in the masters was when I knew that, well, there's a part of IT security where I think I resonate with, which was more on the assurance side. So I took courses in, IT security on the assurance side of things. And then I was opportune to be an intern for someone who was into third-party risk assessment for vendors, and that was how I had this very very strong liking for IT audits in general, and that was how I became. So I'm less my entire career is just a little over a year. So and I think I'm enjoying it so far.
Good. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. And of course, we love having you on our team. Okay, well, for each of you, if you don't mind to share, if there's one thing as part of your background, so whether it was schooling, maybe an influential person in your life, just anything at all that you would say has really helped shape your career into where you are today. Do you mind sharing that? And we'll start with Robin again.
Yeah, great question. So I didn't mention it before, but I do have a degree in computer information systems. And I mentioned that my first real introduction into sort of audit and compliance was with the internship. The role that I'm in today, leading our IT assurance service line, it really ultimately is about helping clients mitigate risk and maintain compliance. And I've had the opportunity to really work both inside client organizations and on the side of the table I'm on today, which is professional services. My experience on both sides of the table, if you will, has really helped me to better understand clients' perspective. And I think that's been instrumental in helping me be successful in my role as a trusted advisor to them and just really getting them to understand why we're here and how we can help them really to have a more secure environment.
Thanks, Robin. Donna, what about you?
I would say similarly to Robin, my IT background, the technical side of it has helped quite a bit, especially having a background in penetration testing and networking, how those function together. Now that I'm in compliance, I can definitely see the client side of it and kind of understand what they're going through and what risks they're facing.
Yeah, that's great. Super helpful for you to be able to understand the client side of it more often as well. Kristen, do you mind to share yours?
Sure. Um, So Robin and Donna mentioned that they had backgrounds in information systems, technology backgrounds, and a large part of IT assurance is a lot of people who have this kind of background. But I'm in the other category of people that come from an accounting or audit background, and I think that really helped shaped me. The master's program and CPA prep gave me a lot of understanding of audit procedure, which applies not only in the traditional financial audit context, but also in the security audit context. A lot of the assertions around completeness, accuracy, sampling come from that mindset. So, and some of the security audits we perform involve financial data anyway. So, a lot of what I learned through accounting and CPA really helped me coming into the security audit space here in IT assurance.
Awesome. Corey?
I'd say that my different explorations in tech have been super beneficial to where I am now. Kind of everything just fits together in different ways, and I think that's just how it is throughout tech. Like you always take knowledge that you learn somewhere, and you can bring it into your new positions. Like with IT, that assists with like general troubleshooting and front end development. Helps with drafting phishing campaigns and making web-based infrastructure. So everything really fits together.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. BC.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just the fact that as a young adult, I was very confused. I didn't know what path to even take because I didn't know if I've mentioned that my my first degree was in biochemistry. And then by the last year of school, I was like, oh, I can't do this. I don't think I like this. And I decided to go work in the bank without even having any knowledge of what banking is. So throughout my 9 years of trying to work in a bank, I dabbled into a lot of accounting. Um, I was reading stuff about banking. And then at a point, I got tired of it. I wanted something that was more challenging. Found myself doing information systems. So by and large, I think it's just curiosity and the fact that there's always something I want to get challenged, and I tell you I have been challenged ever since I started my career here. I'm enjoying it because there's this joy that comes with the fact that for every challenge you're able to overcome, and I think I'm enjoying it.
Well, good. Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. And I love that you mentioned that, there's not one time frame, right? One correct that you have to figure it out as soon as you go to college or maybe even after your first job being in college that whatever it is that brings you to information security and how you get there, I think is just it's interesting to see the various routes that you can take and that there's not one perfect way to do it. So thank you all so much for sharing that. The next thing I kind of want to dive into is if you were to give advice to, maybe your younger self or another female looking to pursue a career in information security, I think most people would. I don't know about you all, but I tend to hear most people think that it's more of a man's world, and there are a lot of men that work in technical aspects and information security. And so, if you're talking to your younger self or maybe another female looking to work in information security, what advice would you give them? Um, and again, Robin, we'll just start with you.
Yeah, I love this question, Lexi. I and I have a lot of advice. So I have two young daughters. Empowerment is huge for me. I want to be a strong woman. I want to raise strong women. Being strong to me means developing the confidence that you need to erase the self doubt, right? We all have a voice. We want to contribute and we want to be heard. And it's really important that when you get your seat at the table, that you have no doubt that you earned that seat at the table, regardless of gender, right? Everything is about the work that we put into it and just really feeling confident in who you are within your career. Advice to my younger self, I've certainly had those moments where I let fear of failure, of the unknown, of change, whatever type of fear control my narrative. My advice would be not to hesitate, growth really begins when you're at the end of your comfort zone. So just go for it. There are things that I can look back and just think, if I'd done it at the when it first came up, I'd already be where I'm still trying to be, where I'm trying to get to. So lots of things, but those are two that I think are pretty important.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm over here just like, yes, 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 yes. Repeat, retweet. Thanks, Robin. That's so good. Such great advice. Donna, do you have any?
I do. So I would say for women in InfoSec, one of the really important things is to find a mentor, someone that can kind of guide you and give you advice, throughout the process. And I mean, don't limit yourself to female mentors because there are definitely men in the industry that want to help women and want to help us, succeed in this field. So, definitely reach out and, find someone with some experience that has a little extra time on their hands and see if you can get some guidance.
Yeah, I think that's such great advice too, because when I would not be in the role I am today if it weren't for the mentors that I had, right? Like similar to what Kristen was saying before, when I started my career in accounting, that was tax or financial audit were the only two things I was ever aware of. And if it weren't for seeking out mentorships, I wouldn't have been introduced to the world of information security and all the possibilities that are there. So I think that's great advice for really anybody looking to start a career in information security. Thank you, Donna. Kristen?
Sure. So, advice I have for a female is really advice that could apply to anyone. And this goes back to what Robin was talking about with confidence is to not be afraid to push for what you want. I think that women tend to be a bit more reluctant to pursue positions where they don't fulfill every single requirement on the job listing, whereas men are traditionally not as reluctant to pursue such positions where maybe they don't check off every box. The most important characteristics you can have are perseverance and a willingness to learn. You really have to be a fighter. And I say that meaning that when you're trying to enter a new field, you need to work hard, you need to be hungry for information, approaching everyone you meet with the attitude, what can I learn from this person? How can this interaction make me better? And if you can do that, it doesn't really matter if you're less experienced than someone else because and I say this a lot, experience is not the same thing as competence, and it is certainly not the same thing as knowledge. And I think that someone with a sharp mind and a hunger to learn is in a strong position to compete with someone who may already have experience in the field. So be confident, attitude is everything, and you can use that to your advantage.
Ah, Kristen, I love that. Experience is not the same as competence. That is so good. You'll find me like writing that down and quoting that everywhere. um, Corey, do you have something you want to share as well?
I would just build off of what Donna was saying in that there's tons of amazing groups out there with women that are in security and all of the adjacent fields. One that stands out to me is called Women in Security and Privacy, WISP. They actually sent me to my big first security conference while I was still working in IT. So I definitely hold them close to my heart. But outside of that, I saw that DEF CON is actually having a Girls Who Hack Village this year. So there's tons of communities out there. You just have to find them.
Oh, that's so good. I love that there are more and more communities growing and becoming available for women as well. So that's great. BC, what about you?
Yes, for me, I think by the time I finish talking, I might have to edit some of the things I'm about to say. But I'm trying to piggyback on what Robin has said because when it comes to advising a female child, for instance, my background is such that where I come from, there's a little, how do I put it? They make the girls feel much more inferior than the girl child. And from a family of six girls, I decided that I was not going to be the this normal stereotype of, girls just going to do, vocational things instead of going to school. So I decided to come into the US to pursue a career in information technology with two kids alone. That was in 2017. And I started doing a course that I had no idea. Of course, it was very challenging. I cried because I thought I made a big mistake. It was very hard because I had a baby and I didn't have anybody. But the thing is, like Christine said, the will. Because I was like, I'm not going to put myself to shame on my children. And it takes the willpower, because if a person is not interested, there's nothing you can tell a person who's not interested to go further. And then in so doing, I've tried seeing my children had seen me, trying to make this work. And sometimes they ask me, "Didn't you go to school when you were a small girl and that you're going to school now?" I just smile. And as much as possible, I try to encourage them early in the possibilities of STEM. Because from where I come from, people normally think that probably besides being a doctor, besides being a lawyer or engineer in quotes, there are no other things besides being these three major careers. Of course, there are a lot of possibilities in STEM. So, and we know that maths is taught and science is taught in elementary schools. Just trying to make girls at a very young age start, connecting the dots. And I think, and also embracing, challenges will go a long way to helping a female, progress in their career.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we can sum it up with confidence is everything, right? Remaining confident and having a willingness to learn and an eagerness to learn and to get out there and join communities and stay proactive and all of that is going to be game changer for anybody, specifically females looking to pursue a career in the um, once was of a past male dominated career. So I love that so much. Okay, and then lastly, just gonna throw this one out there. If you all don't mind to kind of share what your next steps for your career look like, what is something that you're hoping to accomplish in the next year, 2 years, 5 years? What is your next big thing on your list? And we'll walk through that together. Okay, Donna, do you mind to share what's next for you? Something you're
Yeah,
working
sure.
towards?
As part of compliance in general, I think we're all typically working towards that next certification, right? We always want to be as experienced as we can. So really, my goal for the future is just to continue pursuing those industry certifications, whether they be IT related or audit related.
Awesome. Kristen?
So I guess there's two ways to answer this. Always looking up towards the person above me, like, well, how do I take on those tasks and work towards, getting into that role. So next step up from senior is manager. So I guess a few years down the road, that would be my goal. But every day I try to find something that I can use to improve myself professionally. So for me, that would be more technical skills. Like I said, I had the accounting background with audit, and I had to teach myself a lot of the more IT related things like risk assessments and change management, patching, all that stuff was stuff that I had to teach myself. And now being a few years in, there's other service lines that have competencies that I would like to learn, like more technical knowledge, and understanding a bit more in the weeds about how computers interact with each other, how security is actually deployed at the technical level. So those are my day-to-day goals to improve myself, as well as the long-term goal.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing. Corey?
Hey, I'm super comfortable where I am. I guess next steps for me are just, continuously learning and getting better at my job, being more technical and, being able to recognize and use new processes.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's good too that realize that like sometimes where we are in our career is we're at that sweet spot, right? Like we're in a good spot. We can just keep going where we're at. I feel that. I'm right there with you. um, BC, do you mind to share?
Yeah, for me, I still feel like this is fairly new to me, and I'm just looking up to soak in as much as I can, so that I will be as confident. I will be very confident. I want to be very resourceful. So sometimes I don't even look at it in from the how do I put it? I look at it in the nearest future, maybe say in months instead of in years, to see how far I've come and what I know so far. So I'm just for now, I just want to learn and keep learning as much as I can. Then maybe afterwards I can now, oh, what's the next step? Because honestly, there's a lot to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally understand that, especially as you're starting off your career now. So just absorbing as much as you can, learning as much as you can. I think that's a great thing to do. Okay, and then to end with, Robin, do you mind to share what you will be doing?
Sure. Before I answer that, I also want to add one more thing to what we just talked about. So Donna mentioned just how important it is to find a mentor, and it's huge. It's so critical. I can think of all the people that have played such an important role in my career development and growth, and uh, I'm eternally grateful to them. And I think it's very important to pay it forward to provide that
That's
support to
true.
other people. Similarly to what we experience, there is always another generation of young women that are up and coming in our field, and just helping them find success is really important. Part of my answer is going to be just a little bit of advice too, because, why not? So for me, it's really important to connect the work that we do with what our underlying core sense of purpose is. Find out what you have a passion for, ensure that the path that you're on truly fulfills that passion. So, whether you have a passion for innovation or leading a team, making connections with others, inspiring people, educating, whatever it is, that passion should be part of the decision making. So, making sure the ladder that you're climbing is one that continues to fulfill you. And the way that I get fulfillment is leading and mentoring others. At this stage in my career, I am in leadership, so I'm transitioning from this mindset of being a doer to being a leader, and really thinking about the people that I'm leading, how best to empower them and provide them the same opportunities that I've had throughout my career.
I love that. I guess just while we're talking about it, and since mentorship has been brought up a lot, do you guys have any great advice on how to find a good mentor? I know Corey had mentioned a couple of groups. Anybody else have any other recommendations on seeking out mentors and how to find them?
I think there's just people everywhere, information security. There's so many opportunities, and it feels really, really large, but it's also a small world. I got an email today from somebody that I last worked with 20 years ago. Not
Wow.
that I'm trying to highlight my age,
You are.
but I mean, we circled back around to where now we're communicating again, and it is a small world. You want to make as many connections as possible and form those relationships, and just find those people. Like Kristen said, everyone has somebody or has something to teach you. Talking to people, telling them you want to learn from them, asking what their advice is. Those are all really great ways to figure out what you can learn from them and how they can help be a mentor for you.
Yeah, Lexi, I definitely think that you have to put yourself out there. And the more you talk to people, go to different events, you never know who knows who. There's eventually going to be someone who's willing to take you under their wing. And there's a saying that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So I definitely feel like so long as you persevere, you keep going out, you're going to find someone. So just keep all doors open and don't be afraid to go up and talk to new people. So,
Oh, it's super helpful. Thank you guys so much. And thank you so much for all of you joining this podcast, sharing your wisdom and experience. And hopefully, our listeners will learn a lot from this podcast. So, thank you all so much.
Thank you, Lexi.
Thank you, Lexi.